Over the past year, I've gotten the same questions over and over again about AI and teams. Leaders have been asking me, how should I be using ChatGPT? What does this mean for our team? How do we roll this out across the enterprise? What's the future of AI and work? And here's the thing, all of those questions kind of miss the mark. Mindset that this is just another tech rollout, like that time we made everyone move to Slack, or the new payroll system that you'll be seeing roll out in the next couple of weeks. This is not that. This is not a tool to be rolled out to everybody. In fact, tool probably isn't the right word. People are responding to AI in one of three ways, one of three mindsets, if you will. And the trick is that only one of them presents a real growth opportunity. Some people see AI as a threat. This happens with any new technology. They see it as something that's going to downsize the workforce. In other words, take their job. And some people see AI as a tool for simple, busy work. We're gonna make it take all of the meeting notes. We're gonna have it write all of the emails or respond to all of the emails with AI agents. But if that's all you're looking at it, at least you're not looking at it with fear, but you're still missing out on a real opportunity. AI isn't a tool, AI is a teammate. Quick disclosure, this video is not sponsored by any AI company or any company at all. If you wanna sponsor one of my videos, tough. We just don't do that on this channel, so we can focus on getting you what you need. If you're new to the channel, my name is David Burkus, and I study high-performing teams and work with leaders to build their best team ever. Work dynamics are constantly changing. That's why we have to talk about AI and work dynamics. And if that's the type of thing you feel like you need to level up your team, to level up you as a leader, then subscribe to the channel, or better yet, join our email newsletter community. There's a link in the video description below. All right, let's get into it. If you or your team see AI as a threat, then your reaction is going to be to hesitate. I'll just sit back and see how things go. But hesitation is the enemy of progress. And I'll tell you how things are going to go. It's not going to slow down. It's not going to get worse, it's going to get better. And the people who use it, whether they're other colleagues in the organization or in competitive organizations, they're going to get better. And relative to them, your performance will suffer over time. Here's some data for you. 39.4% of Americans between 18 and 64, in other words, the workforce, were using generative AI 2 years after ChatGPT's November 2022 launch. Now, to put that in context, that's nearly double the number of people who said they were using the internet 2 years after the internet launched, and nearly double the number of people who said that they were using a PC 3 years after a PC launched. We have never seen people embrace a technology this quickly. Maybe you've heard people say, oh, AI is not coming for your job, but someone who uses AI is. Well, someone who uses AI is. Someone who does your job is already using AI to do it. The good news is you don't have to master this technology overnight. You just need a mindset shift. You just need to stop seeing it as an enemy and start seeing it as a tool. That's it. From enemy to tool, from slower to simpler. And what does simpler look like? Well, what's the annoying stuff that you do at work every day? The boring, time-consuming, I'm way too smart to be copying and pasting type of stuff. AI can do that. Right now. Summarize that long chain of emails, done. Draft a response to that status report, done. Have it transcribe the entire meeting and take summary notes with action items so no one ever has to be the scribe again. Double done. Still not sure where to start? Try this. Open up an AI tool, whatever one you want to use, ChatGPT, Claude, whatever, and say this. Here's what I do in my job every day. Ask me a few questions and then make some recommendations on how I can use you to do that job better. It's going to ask you a few questions, some follow-up things about your job. It's going to get to know you, and then it's going to spit out a few obvious and a few non-obvious ways you can leverage AI to get more done faster, to free up some mental space, to focus on doing the work you actually like doing. Congratulations, you've just moved from slower to simpler. So you're officially operating in simpler territory, and that's great, but if that's all you do, there's a bit of a danger because you're in cruise control. You're letting it do some work for you, you're streamlining tasks, but other teams Maybe teams in competitive organizations are using AI to do work better and faster, not just to offload it, but to improve it. Smarter teams don't just use AI to offload the work, they use it to upgrade their thinking. So how do you do that? Well, you invite AI into the decision-making process for you. Not to make decisions for you, but to widen your lens and then sharpen your end decision. Let me give you one of my favorite prompts. It's simple, powerful, try this. Here's our current plan. Tell me why this could fail. You're turning the generative AI into a devil's advocate. You're actually asking it to do what we sometimes call a pre-mortem, to think about everything you just laid out and then think about how they'd respond as a competitor or how an unexpected market shift might disrupt the whole thing. You're asking it to point out those flaws so you can widen your lens and get a bigger perspective on what you're doing and what you might need to change. And it's not just about pointing out flaws. Try these too. What are we overlooking? What assumptions are we making that might not be true? Give me 3 stronger alternatives to this approach. Use these prompts in your team meetings. Literally, drop your agenda in the chatbot and ask it these questions. Take your strategic plan, put it in there and ask it for feedback before your next offsite. Do it as many times as you need to. It doesn't get tired of responding to you. This is the real advantage of AI as a teammate. It offers friction without the ego. It helps you use conflict to sharpen your eventual decision without having to deal with the blowback of people taking that conflict personally. Nobody gets offended when a bot points out a weakness in your plan. Now, if you want to go for extra credit, you want to make your teammate even smarter, tell it to adopt a specific persona. Ask it to think like a strategy consultant or a world-class marketer before it gives you that feedback. And if you want to make the feedback it gives you even sharper, ask it specifically for obvious and non-obvious recommendations, things people don't think about all of the time. Now you've moved from just using AI to make your work simpler to making the output of your work that much smarter. So now we're in smarter territory. You're using AI, you're collaborating with it to make better decisions, to create better deliverables, but there's a danger here too. Just because you're using AI more and more doesn't necessarily mean your work is always better. In fact, if you're not intentional, there's some bad habits that can creep in as well. People might start outsourcing their listening in meetings, relying on the bot to do it for them. Or they may fear speaking up with true candor because everything they say is going to be recorded. Some of those quieter voices in meetings will get even quieter. This is why, as a leader, you don't have to worry that AI is going to take your job, because there are things you're still going to need to do, things that are still your job. Emotional intelligence, still your job. Listening with empathy, still your job. Motivating your people, still your job. Making sure people feel safe to speak up, still and always will be your job. But the amazing thing that happens when you do treat AI as a teammate is that the stuff you never wanted to do as a leader, well, that's its job. And it frees up more time for you to do the things that are still your job and that are still the reason you got into leadership in the first place. And since we've already talked about it a few times, if you really are concerned about making sure that people are speaking freely and fully contributing, even as they collaborate alongside of AI as a teammate, you're gonna wanna build psychological safety on the team. So you're gonna wanna check out this video here on what is psychological safety and how you can get it higher inside the culture of your team.